The Random Jottings of Donald J. from Nelson in Pendle. Young man Ainsdale, road to Birkdale haunting manifestation. A woman driving home from work spotted a young man standing on the roadside. The man waved at her before vanishing. The day had been long and tiring for Sarah. As dusk settled over the town of Ainsdale, she found herself eager to leave her office and head home. With weary eyes and a heavy heart, she started her car and began the familiar drive along the winding road that led to Birkdale, her place of solace. The road stretched out before her, bathed in the fading light of the setting sun. The air was crisp, and a sense of unease seemed to linger, as if the very atmosphere held a secret. Sarah tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to her exhaustion and the stories she had heard about this particular stretch of road. As she neared a bend, her eyes caught a glimpse of movement on the side of the road. Startled, she glanced over and saw a young man standing there. He was dressed in old-fashioned attire, his clothes resembling those worn in the early 1900s. His pale face held an expression of sadness mixed with longing. Curiosity overcame Sarah, and she slowed her car to a stop, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. The young man's eyes met hers, and he raised his hand, giving her a faint wave. His lips mouthed words she couldn't decipher, and before she could react, he vanished into thin air, as though he had never been there at all. A shiver ran down Sarah's spine as she stared at the empty spot where the young man had stood just moments ago. Fear and confusion filled her mind, and she hesitated before deciding to continue her journey home, her heart pounding in her chest. Over the next few weeks, Sarah couldn't shake off the encounter from her thoughts. She found herself haunted by the image of the young man, his ghostly appearance forever etched in her memory. Determined to uncover the truth, she began delving into the history of the area, hoping to find answers. Through her research, Sarah discovered that the road she traveled on was once a bustling path that connected Ainsdale to Birkdale in the early 20th century. Tragically, it was also the site of a fatal accident that claimed the life of a young man named Thomas, who bore an uncanny resemblance to the apparition she had seen. Legend had it that Thomas had been waiting for his fiancée on that fateful day, ready to start a new life together. However, she never arrived, and as the hours stretched on, he became desperate. In a moment of despair, Thomas ran onto the road, only to be struck by a passing vehicle, forever sealing his fate. Haunted by this revelation, Sarah felt a deep sadness for the lost soul she had encountered. With a newfound determination, she returned to the roadside where she had seen the ghostly figure. In the stillness of the night, she whispered words of comfort and apology, hoping to bring solace to Thomas' tormented spirit. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah's encounters with the apparition ceased. The road to Birkdale became just a road once more, devoid of the supernatural presence that had gripped her with fear. Though she couldn't say for certain if her actions had brought peace to Thomas' soul, she felt a sense of closure within herself. From that day forward, Sarah carried with her the memory of the young man and the reminder of how fleeting life could be. And as she drove along the road to Birkdale, she couldn't help but glance at the spot where she had seen Thomas, grateful for the lessons learned from her encounter with the otherworldly. By Donald J.